All right, let's dive into something, a really powerful idea that's kind of hiding in plain sight, you know? It's all about what quietly shapes our lives every single day. And believe it or not, our whole journey today starts with a simple child's toy.
So, this little thing is a dreidel. It's basically a four-sided top, and it's used in this really simple, repetitive game. You spin it, you see where it lands, and then you do it all over again. It's the kind of thing we barely even notice, right? Just a simple, repetitive action. But what if that very repetition holds a massive key to understanding who we actually are?
And that brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. It's captured perfectly in this quote. Think about it. Our identity, who we think we are, it's probably not forged in those few big, dramatic, movie-like moments. No, it's built in the quiet, steady rhythm of the things we do over and over and over again.
Okay, so a toy's hidden lesson. How exactly do we get from spinning a simple toy to figuring out who we are? Let's unpack how we go from a game of chance to the choices that actually define us.
You know, we tend to put so much weight on the big stuff, right? Those huge, dramatic moments, the graduation, the big promotion, these one-time events. But here's the question. What if what really shapes us isn't any of that? What if it's the small, recurring choices we make every single day? Our daily habits, our little traditions, the stuff we repeat without even thinking.
All right, Section 2, the repetition that defines us. Let's really dig into this idea, how all that repetition, whether we're aware of it or not, literally becomes who we are.
I love this metaphor. Think of it like this. If you walk across a field once, you leave a footprint, but it doesn't really change anything. But what happens if you walk that exact same path every single day? You create a deep groove, a well-worn path. Well, our habits do the exact same thing to our personality. They create the pathways of who we are.
And this leads to a really crucial point. It's all about how we see that repetition. Is it just a chore? You know, something you're forced to do just to get by? Or is it a choice? Is it something that actually aligns with your character? Even if other people might look at it and think it's, well, boring.
Okay, the crowd versus your character. This sets up a fundamental conflict that, honestly, we all deal with every day. It's this constant tug-of-war between what the world wants from us and what our own internal compass is telling us.
So let's break down why we do what we do. On one side, you've got the extrinsic stuff. That's the pull from the crowd. It's all about following what's popular, that classic fear of missing out or FOMO, and always looking for validation from other people. But on the other side, you've got the intrinsic drive. That comes from your character. That's about finding your own personal meaning, doing things that align with who you are, and really drilling down into your own values.
You know the old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure? Well, it sums this up perfectly, doesn't it? An activity that one person sees as a totally boring, repetitive chore, that could be the very thing another person finds deeply, deeply meaningful. So the value isn't in the task itself. It's all about the perspective you bring to it.
All right, finding power in the mundane. So what do we do with all this? How do we actually turn this understanding into a tool we can use in our own lives? Well, it's all about consciously finding that power in the things that seem, well, ordinary.
And here is the absolute key takeaway. When you find that personal, intrinsic value in the mundane stuff you do, you're not just being productive. No, you are actively building who you are. Embracing your specific routines isn't just about getting things done. It's a powerful act of becoming unique.
So, how can you actually find your path? Here's a simple 4-step framework. First, just recognize your perspective. Take a look at your routines and ask yourself, are these chores or are they choices? Step 2, question the crowd. Are you doing this because of FOMO or because it has real meaning to you? Third, find that intrinsic value for yourself. And finally, step 4, embrace your unique habits. Because at the end of the day, they are the literal building blocks of you.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, a question to really chew on. Look at your own life. What are your well-worn paths? What is your mundane? And maybe most importantly, what is it quietly teaching you about who you are?